Hi guys! I wanted to make this video on a pretty serious issue that a lot of people face, and I just want to kind of give my truth, my advice, my feelings on sleeping and sleep issues that you may be having with your baby, newborn, toddler. Again, this is just my story. I think the best advice is your own advice. And I really had wished that somebody made a video like this, because the videos that I saw when researching, going to the library, doing internet searches, kind of finding out different things and different resources, videos that are on the internet, especially YouTube, just didn't go into as much detail as I wish they did. So I feel compelled that I need to tell my story. And you take what you want, you leave what you want. You can think that this isn't going to work for you at all. You can think that you may want to try certain things, but I'm not asking anybody to try this. I just want you to know the facts. This is more of an educational video rather than a step-by-step guide. It's completely not. I just want to be able to share my story, and I could do 10-minute videos, so there may be a few. This is definitely part one. So how sleep issues got started. My son did not sleep since day number one. He has never slept. As a newborn, he would sleep 10 hours completely unconsecutively. He'd wake up every 40 minutes. He was glued to me. He would not sleep off of me. He would not stop nursing. He would nurse up to 7 to 10 hours a day. I really could not get anything done. And I'm not talking like, oh, I just have to mop the floor. I'm talking like feed my face, use the bathroom, take a shower, at least spend a couple minutes alone, doing things that I really need to do, maybe even wash a cup or two. I had a sink full of dishes. I was very frazzled being a new mom. And I can say that, when I was pregnant, I was so focused on my pregnancy. I had an amazing pregnancy. I didn't know what was going to happen after that. And I wish I would have spent some time researching sleeping and nursing and other things that are going to probably be big problems for most women when they are new moms. But I kind of thought that everything would come natural. I thought I would have a motherly instinct, and none of it came natural at all. And even though I do have an instinct, when you first are a new mom, you just don't trust yourself because you don't know how things are going to turn out. And so when we went into having a lot of sleeping issues, I kind of wish I would have searched this a little bit beforehand. And I'll tell you why. So my son never slept. 10 hours a day, completely erratic sleeper, would only sleep if he was nursing, would never stop nursing. I thought I had a major supply issue because I could never get him full enough to sleep. And I felt like maybe he was spending so much time awake because if he didn't, he wasn't going to get enough food. And there was all these thoughts in my mind. I'd been to lactation consultants and his doctor and da-da-da-da. And nursing is a separate issue, but it definitely is something I need to say here. I don't have a supply issue, but back then I think I did have maybe like a little bit of a supply issue, but I didn't know how to address it as far as when it came to sleeping. So for nursing, I did everything for nursing I could possibly think of, every herb, every tincture, every potion, every pill, everything I could do to kind of get my supply. But my son was still being a very bad sleeper. And everybody was telling me, it's normal. My baby's never slept. This baby never slept. And some babies just have trouble sleeping. It's normal. Don't worry about it. And so I didn't. And now we're here where I never wanted to be. And it's been a long, hard journey. And I wish that I would have listened to my own advice. Inside, I knew this wasn't normal. And I wish I would have stopped myself and said to myself, if I could go back in time and talk to myself, I would tell myself, Fatima, this isn't normal. Babies need to sleep. They need to sleep for you. They need to sleep for themselves. They need to sleep for their development. They need to sleep for their brain. They need to sleep because they learn new skills. They need to sleep because it gives them energy. They're less fussy. They don't cry as much. Everything's underdeveloped at this point. They need to sleep. So you need to do everything possible to get your kid to sleep. I wish I would have told myself that, because I was just bombarded with so much advice and stories that made me feel like, oh, okay, I just don't have a sleeper and this is my problem. And that's not the case at all. So that's my number one thing, is listen to yourself and go with what you think is best. And even though I talk things out a lot with my husband, at the end of the day, and I hate to sound like this, I'm his mom. And now I'm the nap police. Like, I am always constantly shushing my husband and shushing my baby to sleep and shushing people outside because my baby needs to get a nap. My baby needs to go down to sleep. My baby needs to sleep. I will straight up tell my neighbor to be quiet. I am definitely the sleep police for sure. Like, give me a badge. That's my title. So we've had sleeping issues where he'd only sleep 40 minutes, he'd wake up 20 minutes, he'd wake up. He never really seemed well rested. I noticed he had bags under his eyes. And of course, there's so much information on the internet that if you want to tailor it to sounding your way, it will. So I kind of thought, oh, well, 15,000 other people on this blog said it was normal, so I'm just going to go with that. But during about 3 months of age, I finally was able to sleep in my own bed. But we were just zipped up together. My son never was able to sleep. Every whimper he made, he was just nursing. And you're so connected to your baby. And from day one, I knew we wanted to co-sleep. Me and my husband always wanted to co-sleep. And so we did. And I thought, we don't even need a crib. What's a crib for? We're going to this is going to be so amazing. We're all going to sleep all together and just going to be the most beautiful thing in the world. And it was, for the most part, it was a lot of love, and, I could see him building his confidence, and there's a lot of good to co-sleeping, but for me, it had a time limit, and I wasn't aware of that, like, at the time. So about 3 months, and this is just my story, I got really sad, and I'm not going to say I was depressed, because I wasn't, but I was really sad. I only slept 3 hours a day, maybe 5 if I was really, really, really lucky. And I was just at my wits' end. So then I told myself, this isn't normal, and I'm not going to listen to anybody's advice. I need to figure this out on my own. So I researched, and I got book after 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 book on sleeping. And I read, and I felt like I was so far gone at this point. My son was getting ready to turn 4 months of age. I've been extremely unhappy, and my ability to be a mom. I mean, I wanted to roll on the floor with my son and play with him and tickle him until he peed his pants, and learn with him and be creative with him and do things and give him outside in a stroller and let him, smell the world around him and be a part of the world. And there's so many reasons why I wanted to be a mom. And I was just barely doing the bare minimum. I'm talking like changing your diaper, putting clothes on you, making sure you weren't freezing or burning up, and feeding you. And those were like the only 4 things I could do. There was nothing extra. And I was just constantly tired. And I was actually like getting angry at my son for not sleeping. I was getting upset. I was getting just like my mood and my emotions were just so exhausted. It was just torture not to sleep. I mean, it was just torturous. It's the worst pain you'll be in, is to be sleep deprived and be responsible for something that's so important. Putting those together just made it like such a impossible situation for anybody to be in. I wouldn't wish this on anybody. I felt worse for my son, like as bad as I felt for myself, and I was definitely feeling sad for myself. I felt 100 times worse for my son. My poor kid isn't sleeping, and I don't know what to do. What's wrong with him? And so it made me research and get all those books, and I'll continue in the next video.